Meanwhile, I'll have you on camera. Hopefully I can see. If you.
How'd you know?
So I'm Janelle Marsh, I'm Derek's mom and helping out with the Christmas party. So we had a good meeting, well, it's been a month now, I think, with Ron and some guys and so I went ahead and ordered some chairs and tables and oh, if you don't know, it's gonna be December 7th. And it's from 5 to 8, we decided. And it's gonna be at Cliffs, the Cliffs.
Yes, at Sundance, right.
So we decided we need. And there's a slight change where I signed up to rent them. They are not open on Saturdays. And so we do have some guys already signed up to help because we're not going to pay for the delivery this week. So we're gonna we have to get it Friday and then drop it off on Monday. So I guess the good news is we get tables and chairs for a long time. But I think Ron's gonna take care of like the when. I do have a lot of people signed up for things to bring, but if you weren't here when this was passed around, there are some things that I can get help from, like if you want to buy some plates and napkins, it's just simple kind of thing. But definitely it's a potluck style. So bring your favorite dish and we'll have plenty of tables this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey.
I guess my question for you all is besides decorations, yummy food, and just the fellowship. Are you looking for anything else like a game or just talking? Just talking?
We just usually do talking. I had a question, Janelle. In previous years, they had tables. Where do they get the tables? I thought they got those from the court before.
Yeah, we do have some already, but the guys and I were thinking that we need more.
Oh.
Yeah. Time.
They are?
So we're gonna rent what we need, yeah,
Oh, boy.
yeah, well, there's a government support of a private entity sort of
Oh,
thing.
my gosh.
Yeah, they're getting to be sticklers.
Yeah.
At least that's my understanding. There's the subject of alcohol. You want to talk about that? And I think Cliff is feeling that, you know, if you guys want to imbibe and enjoy Christmas, and that pilots are responsible people. They know they're 8 hours bottle to throttle, and he's willing to allow that. I think that the arrangement was bring your own or bring some to share.
We're
Yeah.
gonna supply punch that Cliff's gonna do.
Okay. Uh-oh. Oh, it's not from the family in the woods.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
Okay.
So there is that to drink, and if you want to bring alcohol or sodas, I would say bring your own, I think.
Okay.
Or let me know, write a note or something, say, please bring soda.
Bring enough to share, or bring some to share.
Yeah, because I do have a budget, so if you want it, then I might be able to buy it.
Okay.
So, I'm gonna go ahead and pass this around. Just ignore my scribbles. But if there's a place to write your name and phone number, then
What are you missing in terms of people that things that you need
Well-
brought or whatever?
we have a location. So I guess if actually, you know what? Greg Keys, is he here?
Right there.
I was thinking, I think I got bags of eyes. Do I need to bring bags of eyes?
I do have you wrote down bags of ice.
So do I need 3 bags or would 2 bags be enough? Or-
Well, you're the only one that signed up for it. So I guess unless nobody
Okay,
else.
maybe I get 3. I was just gonna get some 2 liters. I don't know how, 4 or 5.
You have coolers? You have coolers?
I have a cooler that I think I could throw the ice in, but you put the ice in, cups.
Yeah.
I don't know how many, I think that 10, 20 might be enough. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how, you don't know how many people could show up,
I know.
so.
How many do you think we'll predict?
Oh, goodness. At least what we have 90 last time. About maybe not that many.
So many.
Yeah, because we'll have the
Yeah, but
CAF folks, plus people.
Well, I can do several 2 liters and then just see what they need, you know, Coke, Mountain Dew, whatever.
I've invited anyone I know who's even associated with the airport. So Ryan's people are invited. He's our landlord here.
Where are the tables, where are the locations of tables to be picked up, you know?
It's called Red Door Rentals. It's over by Fred Meyer.
Oh,
On Woven Way?
So I'm gonna bring the bottled waters that we didn't use for the kids flying.
oh, I
thing.
thought you would have drank all those by now.
Yeah, there we go.
All right,
So I'll bring those and then, I guess plates for enough for 90 or 100 people.
Sounds about right. Maybe 120, because we could always hang on to plates. So.
Yeah.
I'd say like 150, just have extra, just in
Next year,
case.
we'll use
Yeah.
it next year.
Yeah.
yeah, I'd say definitely 150.
Mhm.
It's a good idea.
And then napkins, maybe the same amount.
Mm-hmm.
And then, tablecloths, we were thinking of that rolling thing,
Yeah,
rolling tape.
plastic or paper, or
Yeah, uh-huh.
easy cleanup.
Yeah. So, nobody signed up for that unless we have that already.
Oh. You put me down for that.
Okay.
I'll have Julie take care.
Yeah, I do have a couple wives and Margie, you're on my list too, to help decorate.
Oh, wow.
We're gonna plane. Mark your plane in there.
And I have down background music or setup. Do we want to do background music or?
Easy enough to do if
Okay.
you want some Christmas music.
All right.
Anyone inclined to do music? Derek. Way to step up. Okay. Okay, you want Derek's kind of music? Oh, okay, okay. Someone want to bring Christmas music? Yeah. We could get a Spotify going on this box. It'd be pretty easy to do. I'll take that.
Yeah, so we'll probably be there a couple hours early. So if you're like, I don't,
What are the times of it?
it starts at 5. So
So, some 3 or 4.
yeah, I'd say,
I think we'd probably be there around noon, just to get started.
So, for the people that have to pick up stuff like tables and chairs, are you gonna let us know where we have to go? The name of the place and what time and all that stuff?
yeah.
Okay.
And bring your.
Maybe have Ron send out the email.
Yes.
Okay.
They said that you'll need 2 trucks or a trailer and truck to pick what we need.
Okay.
So not
I
too.
offered my truck. I think Tom, you offered your truck and
I got.
trailer. Great.
And what was your name?
What?
What was your name?
Sorry.
Okay. Yep. Okay.
You had one more on the road.
I have a trailer as well, but doesn't have any sides to it, so I have to strap everything down, but,
Okay, I've got 2 trailers.
oh, okay, I've got a hitch.
Well, you're welcome to borrow. Second, the first trailer is low side. The other one is policy.
Oh, okay, well, mine will hold quite a few things, I can strap them down, just a few rubber bands and hold everything. I guess that'll work. Rather than put you all that trouble, because I've got the flat trailer as well.
I get sides.
Oh, okay, that's good. That's better than mine,
That's a
okay?
policy.
Yeah, I have Greg Keys, Ron, Tom, and Bill to help pick up the chairs, tables, and to take back the same Greg.
Who is the rental outfit?
Red Door,
that will-
and then to take back Greg Keys, Ron, and Greg Anderson.
Okay.
And where are they located?
Right by Fred Meyer, But I-
Off the Wellsville Way.
Okay.
kind of where those warehouses are,
Yeah.
by Goodwill.
All right. Well, done, well,
think that's it.
Oh, thank you, Janelle. Thanks very much.
Thanks a lot.
Okay. Next item, I didn't have time to do the minutes for the old meeting, so we'll just approve those. Pretty much we talked about everything today. All in favor? Aye, all opposed. Thank you. Thank you. Treasurer's report I do have. We have $70 in cash on hand, and we have 5,511.35 cents in the bank for a total of 5581.35. So we're doing okay. We did have like one member contributed dues, and that got deposited. Plus we had like 21 cents in interest. Worth thinking about is, do we want to get a CD or something like that? It's going to earn a little more interest. Some folks have talked to me about that in the past. We might want to pull on that and get the board engaged and see what we want to do.
Get a CD.
Certificate of deposit.
Oh,
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, that's an old fashioned. Yeah.
Savings account pays maybe 4+%.
Oh, really? Without having to do anything special.
Right.
Yeah.
CD bank.
Might have to look. Yakima Federal is our bank, and we'll look into moving a little bit. And yeah, they probably do.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay. Upcoming expenses. We've got this new thing, the beneficial owner identification, the BOI, looking for financial fraud. So any non-for-profit or any organization has to register, and that way we show that we're not a shell company. So that I don't know what kind of fee is involved for that. It might be around $30, but it's just a new government thing. Right now their website doesn't work. So when I sign up and say that we're just a nonprofit for educational and social purposes, and they have no idea what that's all about. So if we were an honest shell company, I could have filled this out, but we're not. So but we're still working on that. So that $30 is probably on its way. Christmas party. I don't know what we budgeted for that out of our budget. I've set aside maybe 300 to 400 perhaps for rentals. That's about right. And if we certainly have the reserves if we need to go higher than that. And we'll. Okay, great. Okay, was that EAA funds or was that a Herb donation? Okay, I didn't know you had a check. I'll check on that. And then our chapter filing fee is coming up, and that's last time I think it was about 532, 522. About 550 just to file our chapter paperwork, keep us going. Any questions about the treasurer's report? Okay, I couldn't get it to work, so I might have to call you and get it, or because you click on the help button and you get a robot, and the robot doesn't know anything. So, yeah, it's the wonderful modern technology. So I could pass this around if people want to read it. There's nothing new. But yeah, you're welcome to. Our new mailing address is 2014 Butler Loop. I've got some copies of our agenda, so I'll just go and pass them around. Share that and information on it. 2014 Butler Loop. So just other side of the airport here. That's a lot cheaper to use that locked mailbox that we already have, and actually Herb's mailbox, then to pay $130 every 6 months for a post office box. So we'll save a lot of money that way for the chapter. Talked about Christmas party planning. Young Eagles. Bill, you want to talk about the funds you have?
Yeah, so the new, for 2025, the new Young Eagle Rally is going to be on May 31st. And that's a Saturday. And last year was real successful. The big challenge, of course, is we start out by finding how many pilots can we get, because that really determines how many kids can we get. So, and the pilots have to have kind of the normal qualifications. You need to be a member of the EAA. You have to have a current medical, current biennial flight review. Your plane needs to be, in annual. And that's pretty much it. And I'm always looking for pilots. Last year we had a few guys come over from Walla Walla, and it would be nice if we had more local participants. So I'm going to get on that earlier than later to let people know. I know Craig, who's out here tonight, but last year he said he would fly, but he couldn't because his plane was an annual. So that can be a problem, and I had my plane in reserve, and I ended up Margie tapped me after the first 30 minutes and said, "You're flying good." So it was a pretty busy time, but it was for those of you who didn't come. It was great. We had the Civil Air Patrol there. They had I bet we had 16 or 17 of those kids in full uniform, both boys and girls. They just did an outstanding job of helping out. We had the 99s that came, and they helped us with the admin. And I'm going to ask if they could help us out with that again this year, because without the admin, we're dead. We're dead in the water. Also, I have a friend of mine across the street. He's the captain of Alaska Airlines, and I think I've talked him into, if his schedule will allow, either him or somebody else show up in full uniform and kind of talk to the kids. Everybody looks up to a captain of a jet, So and then we had the what's the group that has the historical airplanes?
Commemorative airport.
American Air Force. They showed up with an airplane, and that was great. The kids could look at an old World War II airplane and get all excited about it. So we're trying to put a little spice into this event. For those volunteers, they got a free meal out of the deal, because I basically had a food truck come in with good Mexican food. So it was really a lot of fun, and we will be looking for volunteers as we go forward. Even if you can't fly an airplane, we'll be getting the word out. But again, that's May 31st. The other thing is that I got an email from the EAA, and they said that we have a credit based on how many kids we've flown, and I already used up some of the credit for the costs of some of this current year's event, but we have $317 or something like that still on credit, and so there's a number of things that you can use that money for, but it expires December 31st, and I had Margie take a look at it, and I thought she had a great idea of using these pages like they have at restaurants for the administrative people, so that they don't have to run around and try to find parents and kids. With this big crowd, it's pretty challenging to find out who's up next. So just having the pager, and when the pager buzzes, you'll know your pilot is ready to fly you. So basically the way it works is I'm going to be going to different websites. For example, last year on Facebook, there is an old Facebook page, and Mark helps me get the kids to sign up on that. Usually we'll get like 40 kids the first day, so they come in pretty fast, and it's scary because we don't want to overbook based on the number of pilots that we have. So it's kind of an exciting time, but thanks to Ron's laptop that he's donated for now, that will help a lot. So does anybody have any questions or comments about the rally? I know we have,
Gonna be here.
it'll be here at Richland. And we have Steve here, he's a pilot, so he always volunteers and that's been great.
Sign up sheet and ground support.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be needing ground support. We have, safety is the number one criteria when we have spinning propellers. We try to keep the public separated from those airplanes so that when we're ready, then we usually have cones and tapes so that we go out and, make sure that, we don't have anybody wandering out as the airplane is getting ready to start up for taxi. Any other questions? And of course, all the airplanes that are being built, you guys need to hurry up and finish them by May 31st. Okay? All right.
You on that, Vasily?
Yeah, hurry up.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you very much.
Get some lead bricks on those cones, because, if there's wind.
Yeah.
It will,
Blows them over.
Blows them all over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Last year was a problem, wasn't it, for those?
yeah,
Yeah.
several times we have to.
We'll have to figure out a solution to that.
Okay, next item is new officer elections. It is November. It's time to choose people for next year. Is there anyone who is interested in serving as president of our beloved chapter? Well, I'll raise my hand. I'm happy to serve as chapter. Thank you. I won't be giving a campaign speech unless someone else wants to run against me. So the one issue that I have is the bylaws say that you can't be president and secretary at the same time. So I'm going to have to let that job go. We're going to need someone to be secretary in that case. Greg, you'd mentioned that you would like to.
I do it.
All right, thank you, Greg. Everybody give a big hand for Greg.
Okay.
Chapter doesn't run without a secretary.
I can be as good as president.
Well, that's not much of a campaign speech, I have to say, but
You just gotta keep the notes.
yeah, you're just fine. Yeah, and there's some things to fill out. Some government things to ship in. It's not a heavy lift. We have a position for treasurer. Right now, I'm secretary treasurer. Be happy to continue as treasurer if you want, but if someone else wants to take over that job, I'm also happy to let it.
I could probably do that.
Bill Dana, I was always told to give people 7 seconds of silence, and you got in there in the 7 seconds. Thank you, Bill. Great. We need a vice president. I'm not sure if Greg wants to run, but he's not here to say that he won't. He did give me a Sherman-esque response. He said, if nominated, he will not run, and if elected, he will not serve, I think. But he's not here to verify that. But is there anyone who wants to serve as vice president? It's probably the easiest of jobs. Thank you, Eric. Yeah, great. Love to have you. Sign up for the easy jobs. Great. So we got a full slate of officers. That's excellent. Thank you. Next on the agenda is November 44481. November 44481 is a TaylorCraft Bravo Charlie 12 that's been donated to us by the estate of Fred Porter. It could become a beautiful aircraft. Right now it's in parts and pieces, and it's in Robert Blaine's hangar. I have some photos of it if you'd like to see them. It's rag and tube. If you're familiar with a TaylorCraft, it's if you've seen some restorations of a TaylorCraft, they're quite lovely. It would be a project plane for us, or it could be a plane that we sell and use that donation or use that for our treasury. The logbooks say it hasn't been flown since 1971, but it appears to have new fabric. We haven't done a punch test on the fabric yet to see what condition it's in, but it looks pretty good. It looks like it's been sitting in a hangar for a while, but it's not in bad shape. And I'll post some photos up, and I'll share those by email with you all. But it's our airplane now. As soon as I file the paperwork and get the change of address and the registration in with the FAA. So yeah, anyone interested in rebuilding a TaylorCraft, or what I would love to do in my copious free time is have some sort of workshop so we can get some kids involved with some A&Ps. And I know that you would love to do that. Yeah, and I would love to do that with you too. Because it's a two-seater, and you're not going anywhere fast. It's I think it might have an 85 horsepower engine, but I think it's a 65. So, but the when they transferred the bill of sale to me, the Porter family, real nice folks, and I heard some hanger flying stories about how it was used for chasing coyotes. So some little low level, Napa deer fly. We won't be doing any of that. If we get it fixed up pretty, we might take it to Wham for that fly-in. That would be worthwhile. All right. Any questions about TaylorCraft? That is now our TaylorCraft.
What kind of engine does it have in it? Do you know?
It's a Continental, the 65 horsepower. I forget what the designation is. Yeah. But yes, sir.
You don't pitch, model test.
That's a Bravo Delta 12 Charlie. So I had a picture up. I could pull it up. Yeah. We'll Google that. And it's you remember how your grandpa's truck would smell on the farm, or had that farm smell? This plane has that farm smell, and I just love it. It smells a bit like the rear wind, Herb's rear wind, or the what's the other one that Elliot Blackbon is the share of? Porterfield, the Porterfield that's been flying.
Is it in a hangar?
It is in a hangar. It is in Robert Blaine's hangar, and it's kind of the wings and tail surfaces are stacked on shelves. The fuselage is kind of in the corner. The engine is all installed on the fuselage. It's covered in a tarp in a way. Still has the instruments, but I don't know what state of operation they're at. There's a lot of work involved to get it airworthy. I will say that. Okay. From what I've been told, it's got new fabric. It was newly covered, and then it was put in the barn, essentially. Put in the hangar. So I don't think it's flown much with that new fabric. Given how the logs book said, the last logbook entry said it was flown in 1971. I don't know if they just didn't find the right logbook and it's flown since then, or what's the state of it. We have not done a punch test on the fabric to see what condition it's in. So, other questions about 44481? Might come up with a new identifier, but 444, it's kind of fun to say.
This is not an experimental aircraft, so right? So
Certificated aircraft, yes, right.
so you have to have an A&P to bless it off. Right.
We'll do. If we would need an IA to bless it. If we rebuild it, we'll have to work through that. Yes, sir.
Have to get the CD from the FAA and have records. Then you'll be able to see whether it's covered in that 337.
Well, that's good.
Excellent. Okay. Thank you.
Good idea.
Good idea. Okay. I have a pipe dream of getting an A&P license. That might become a project plane for me. I don't know. I haven't broached that subject with the wife yet, so there's nothing definite about that. Okay. Also, and speaking of assets available to us at a very low price, the EAA chapter in Prosser has gone defunct, and they are no longer going to hold the lease on their building at Prosser Airport. That building is available to us, and the cost of the lease is $1 a year to the Port of Fenton. Question is, a building is not free. It needs some maintenance, and it could use a coat of paint, and make sure the pipes don't freeze and things like that. It's not. There would be some labor cost if we assumed it, if we had a use for it. But think about, could we have a use for that building? We, as a chapter, I remember Herb telling the story, built that building for the Prosser chapter at the Prosser Airport, and then the Prosser chapter split off. And now they've decided don't want to fly anymore, don't want to meet anymore. That, you know, it's kind of sad. They used to be pretty active. But I don't know. Do you have a spot? It probably could work for that. Now that you mentioned it. I don't know if it has a hangar door necessarily, but we could look at it. We could certainly, it's more of a, absolutely right. Absolutely right. Yeah. Yeah. So that is an option. That might be a little far for folks who live here and want to go work on it, but definitely it's a possibility. And yeah, in terms of space for storage, it's pretty cheap. We certainly could always use storage space. So that's an option. If the chapter is interested, I will continue to pursue taking that lease. Yeah. That's true. That is true. Well, it's got 3 fridges. I recommend it that if you get that building, to get rid of those fridges because they're like third hand. You know how fridges get. And they're trying to give them away. I'm like, no thanks. I've got a dirty enough fridge in my home. Okay. Any other questions about the EAA chapter building in Prosser Airport? Not, we'll go ahead and start the chaptergram video. Bring up Charlie Becker. Wherever he is.
For the Christmas party, is
I
that?
bet you could rent that security out.
You know, that's another idea too, Tom. Yeah, it's a very good idea.
No video is coming through on the Teams meeting.
Sorry, Brad, what's up?
No video is coming on the Teams meeting. Video for
Okay.
Charlie. Share the audio.
Share the audio. Let's see. You're saying you're getting no video on Teams. But I was sharing it.
I forgot what you did, or you.
What did we do last time?
I think you have to click that, maybe that share button in the upper right hand corner and say share.
Share sound. There we go. All right, let's try this again. We'll go back.
Perfect.
Welcome to this month's Chapter Video Magazine. I'm Charlie Becker, Director of Chapters and Communities here at EAA. And November is Chapter Renewal Month. That's when it starts. You should get a notice if you're an officer towards the end of the month, mid to late month, with a link to renew. We do ask that you get that done by December 31st. That helps us a lot with renewal if we can get the vast majority of the chapters to just do it before the end of the year. That way we start off fresh in 2025, knowing exactly who the active chapters are going to be. So please look for that towards the end of the month. Also, the leadership recognition pins and certificates will be mailed out to the president of your chapter, and you should have those by Thanksgiving. So please make sure that when you have your holiday celebrations that you hand those out and say thank you and recognize those volunteers that make a difference by leading your chapter. You know, as you know, chapters don't happen without volunteer leadership. So big thank you on that front. Also, if you have Young Eagles ground volunteers, since we don't track those individually,
You can request pins and certificates for your ground volunteers, so get that request in sooner rather than later. We did actually run out for the first time in a long time last year. We ordered some more, but it is a first come, first serve request, so get those requests in early. Now, looking ahead to 2025, we are committed to doing the Ray Aviation Scholarship Program again next year. This has been an amazing program that allows young individuals to earn their private pilot certificates. Again, we award the scholarship to the chapter. The chapter turns around and finds the candidate and oversees and mentors that candidate along. And we've had over 500 successful private pilots as a result of this program. So a big thank you to all the chapters that have made that happen. Now, because of that success, the Ray Foundation has committed to an all-time high of $2.25 million for scholarships this year. That's both an increase in the scholarship from $11,000 to $12,000 for the full scholarship and 200 scholars. The deadline, the application is now open as of November 1st. The deadline is 12/31 for the matching program. And a reminder, if you want to do the match, you will go in, you'll go to the front of the line basically. You will have to have had a previously successful scholar as well. So your commitment as a chapter for that would be 25%, which is $3,000 with the new $12,000 scholarship amount. The deadline for the full scholarship is January 31st of 25. So if you have some good candidates at your local level, by all means, I would encourage you to apply for the scholarship. It is a competitive application, meaning that not every chapter that puts in will get one, but you know, if you have the right candidate and you're doing the right things at the chapter level, by all means, put in your application. It is wonderful. In fact, I got to take a second to brag on our scholar from Chapter 252, my local chapter, Rusty Everhard, earned his private pilot certificate just recently, and he took a full-time job here at EAA working in our membership center. So when you call in and you get Russell Everhard, you'll be talking to a successful Ray scholar. So congratulations to Rusty. Looking over at our museum, we do have a couple of donations that I want to call out. The first, well, actually one donation, and that is Dick Rutan, who just recently passed away. His Long Easy was donated by Dustin Riggs. So big thank you to Dustin for making that donation. This was a Long Easy that Dick Rutan built with Mike Melville. They each built one. They worked on all the parts together, and then they'd flip a coin, and whoever won the coin toss got first pick on the parts. Mike Melville's was donated in 2022, and now we have the matching one from Dick Rutan. So that is pretty awesome. This is the one that they both flew, these two aircraft, around the world on a friendship tour in 1997. So a lot of history there with these two aircraft. So really happy that we have both of the aircraft in the collection, and a big thank you again to Dustin Riggs for the donation. Now, also on the museum front, we have an F-86 that we decided to update the livery on that aircraft to recognize Air Force veteran and NASA flight director Gene Kranz. He's a longtime EA member. He led the Apollo 11 and 13 missions. He was also in the Air Force and flew in Korea as part of the 69th Fighter Bomber Squadron. So those are now the new markings that we have painted on the aircraft. Now, this aircraft has had some different markings over the years while it's been in the EA collection, but they were always done in vinyl. This time we did it right, painted it up. We actually got Gene's input to get the markings just right. So it looks awesome. Our team over at Weeks that did this work did an awesome job, and it definitely looks nice. And the next time you're at the museum, by all means, check it out. We also brought into the display area of the museum the Benson gyrocopter prototype. This was a very, very popular rotorcraft, probably the most popular rotorcraft ever for the home-built world. We also brought the Solar Riser in. This was an aircraft that Larry Morrow flew. It had solar panels on the wings, and it was probably really the first electric aircraft, and that was flown, I believe, in 1976. And also, when you're touring the museum, we've started to build out a program called Inside the Hangar. This allows you to kind of go on a self-guided tour of the museum. You can use your smartphone or a tablet to watch these videos that we're building out to go into more depth around each aircraft in the museum. So we have a number of them already deployed. This will be a great addition. So the next time you're in the museum, by all means, try it out. I've watched all 6 of the videos we've done so far. It's really nice to be able to go deeper and find out more about that aircraft that you're looking at. Also, for chapters, we have an area in the Founders Wing with a big map signifying all the chapters, and we have around it all the patches that we've had in the collection. If you've never donated a patch, we ask that you send in 2. One will go into our archives. The other will be put on that map. And so just recently, Cottonwood, Arizona chapter 952, their president, Larry Batten, sent us a couple of patches. So I went ahead and put their patch up on the board to make sure it was there. And the other one's now safely in our collection. So if you haven't done this before, send us 2 patches and we'll get it on the board and we'll add it to our collection. Now I want to call out another donation. A very nice donation from a member. Philip Bozak was here. He was in the Weeks hangar and he realized that the lighting in the Weeks hangar was still the old incandescent lighting that we had. And it was kind of hard to see when you're working in the hangar. So he was kind enough to donate some brand new LED lighting. So if you've ever volunteered at the Weeks hangar, you'll now have really nice lighting for both our staff that works there year round and also our volunteers that show up and help work on the aircraft. So big thank you to Philip for making that donation. A nice upgrade that will definitely be appreciated by everybody who works in that hangar. Last thing I wanted to call out was we are having a tax-exempt basics webinar with Patty Arthur. She's a nonprofit tax attorney that's helped so many chapters over the years. That will be on December 3rd. By all means, if you're interested in the donation process for a chapter, 501c3 status, whether you're doing that stuff right, tune into that webinar. It's open to any chapter person interested. So that's what's going on here at headquarters, and I'll see you next month.
Cool. All righty.
That's good.
Okay. Let's see, next item. Oh. Okay, we'll find that. We'll stop it. We don't need to see October's, so bring that up. Chris brought in a box, which is always fun, and this is a box that apparently was in Kevin Lane's possession. It has a number of, let's see, Ed, you want to model that for me? So we have some Flying Tumbleweeds T-shirts. I've got a couple of extra larges and I think 1 large. So there you go. There you go. Thank you, Vanna. Yeah. Okay. So, Brad, we got an XL if you want it, unless you have one already.
Did Kevin drop out of the chapter?
I don't think so. I think he's just cleaning house. What? He moved. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, that's too bad.
Wow.
All right. Great. Thank you. So, yeah, they are America's favorite price. They are free. So, yeah, you'll take it. Yeah. I mean, otherwise, I got to take them home, and you know,
I have one of those already.
can't come home with. We also have enough to give away to anyone. A number of 2019. Go ahead, Ed. You did such a good job last time.
Upstanding.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's got our Flying Tumbleweeds logo on it. Silkscreen T-shirt, and this one was for the Wings and Wheels event in 2019. So apparently we had a lot of them printed. Also, America's favorite price. Show your EAA love, and wear a free T-shirt.
Extra large.
Size is that?
Extra large.
We've got some XLs. We've got. If you don't find your size on the table, we've got.
Show the other side too. There you go.
We got a lot. We got a lot. So, yeah.
Wow.
So, yes, help yourself, please. Okay. So yeah, that's our box full of stuff. So thank you, Chris, for bringing that in. And actually, looking forward to getting a shirt like that. So I've got to have the logo. Logo's pretty cool. Next is the VMC Club. Let me bring up the video. And then we had also the question of the month. Bring that up. Thought I had the attachment. Oh, I guess I don't. Maybe Brad's message has it.
Janelle, are you doing that? Is Sundance open that Friday the 6th? Grab the tables and chairs on? Could you get back to me on that? Because
Yeah, there's a link for the video. They also have a question of the month. So I'll pull up the video and I'll just read the question. And while that's loading.
yes.
Good question. That sounds good.
Yeah. Oh, that's there. The VMC question of the month is here, you can that way Brad can see me read it on
Okay.
camera. I'm not some
Well, there you go.
disembodied voice or disemboweled. You are making a daytime VFR flight from Hyannis, Massachusetts to Martha's Vineyard because you're a pilot and you're rich, right? Yeah, okay. Shown below. Conditions include a 1,000-foot overcast and 10 miles of visibility. What is the highest altitude at which you can legally fly this trip under these stipulated conditions? Now, what I really should do is bring up the image, because it would really help you to see the image. So let me do that. I'll send it. Well, we'll get back to that. Let me play the video while I play with that. Can you hear Brad?
Yes. More importantly, we'll put the recording on the website so anybody else can look at the meeting afterwards.
Great, thank you.
But can't hear anything.
So you say you can't hear?
Cannot hear the video.
Okay. I
Can
will,
hear you.
Sorry about that. I thought you could. We'll make that happen. Share. We'll start from the beginning.
No
Can you hear
audio
now?
yet.
Oh.
No audio yet.
For your free 6-month trial membership.
Now video perfect.
Think about your experience, your currency, and your proficiency. Whether you're an experienced pilot or someone who just got their certificate, try to picture yourself in this discussion and think about what action you would have taken. You are going to be flying a personally owned Piper PA-28180 equipped with KX-155 radios, DME, a Garmin 430 GPS, and ADS-B. This airplane is a 4-seat fixed-gear single that carries 48 gallons usable fuel. Equipped with a 180 horsepower Lycoming 0360 engine, the typical fuel burn in cruise is 9 gallons per hour with a cruise speed of about 120 knots. You're a private pilot embarking on a return late afternoon cross-country flight from Poughkeepsie Airport in New York to Jake Arner Memorial Airport in Leighton, Pennsylvania, returning from a business meeting. The flight covers about 98 nautical miles and is flight planned at just about 50 minutes. You plan to fly direct using the GPS for primary navigation. Conditions along the route of flight include good VFR with clear sky, better than 10 miles visibility, and winds aloft out of the west at 12 to 15 knots. Following your business meeting, you recheck the weather, update your flight planning, and file a VFR flight plan with flight service. The pre-flight reveals no problems with the airplane. You check the fuel visually and with a dipstick and determine you have just under 40 gallons. After boarding the airplane, you close and latch the door, perform the engine start, and verify that all systems are working properly. You get your taxi clearance and squawk code and taxi to runway 24 for departure. The tower clears you for takeoff and you request to have your VFR flight plan activated, which the tower confirms. After departure, you climb to 4,500 MSL, complete your cruise checklist, and settle in for what is expected to be a smooth flight. About 15 miles from Leighton, which is uncontrolled, you begin your descent. Roughly 8 miles out, you check the ASOS, which is reporting sky clear and winds of 290 at 6 knots. Based on this report, you decide to land on runway 26 and to maneuver for a downwind entry to the pattern. Roughly 4 miles from the airport, you complete your pre-landing checklist, turning on the boost pump, setting the mixture to full rich, and selecting the fullest fuel tank. Everything is looking good for the approach and landing. It's nearing sunset as you enter the downwind for runway 26, and the sun is shining brightly just above the horizon. You report entering the downwind and then hear another pilot report that he is departing on runway 26. You expect that he will clear the runway shortly. On base, you select full flaps, recheck your mixture, and test the brakes for landing. As you turn final, the glare from the sun makes it very difficult to see what's on the runway. What would you do?
What would you do? Talk to the other pilot? Would you continue to land if you can't see? I don't know, sometimes it's like a little, well, you know, sometimes they throw you a softball. Any other thoughts on the video? What would you do? Right, in a half hour, it'll be over. The problem will be gone. It'll be, you know, and not long enough for it to be night, and unless you're night current, that's okay. I didn't catch how much fuel he had. I presume he had enough. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Emergency to a different tower. Okay, right.
Mm-hmm.
You can overfly and see.
So you could buzz the guy and tell him to hurry up.
If you can't see the runway really good.
No, you would not. You would not.
You don't know, you might get down a little bit, it might be better.
It's always good to see where you're going. Okay, here's the VMC club. Brad, can you see? The VMC question of the month. I'm going to give you the answer too.
Yeah, bad
I'm not
landing.
careful.
Bad landing is what appears on the video.
Okay, that was the video. Okay, yeah, I'll go ahead and. Oh, you see, it's a relatively new one. So I need to share this thing. Thank you. Do that, and I'll stop sharing that. Now I want to share. Oh, the technology again. Okay. Here we go. Now, the VMC question of the month. So you can see that, Brad?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, you're making a daytime VFR flight from Hyannis to Martha's Vineyard, and conditions include 1,000-foot overcast and 10 miles visibility. What is the highest altitude at which you can legally fly this trip under these stipulated conditions? And the reason I had to show the chart was you had to see this little section right here, right? So what does that mean? What is the magenta?
Class E.
Class Echo to how high? 700 feet is correct. So where can you how can you legally fly? How high can you legally fly? It's 1,000-foot overcast. Okay, he says you can't. Who else? 500 is a question. What it's
500 feet unless you were going over a populated area where you have to remain 500 feet higher within 1,000-foot radius of the
okay. Yeah,
It's not very far.
That's over
you're all close.
the ocean.
You're all close. It's in Class Echo airspace. You have to be 500 feet below a cloud. What kind of airspace is it under here at 700 feet and below? It is Class Gull. Class Gull. So where do you have to be from the clouds in Class Gull? Clear clouds. So the highest elevation is 700 feet. So while you maintain, you're still in Class Gull. So when you, yeah, kind of a tricky question. So yeah. If you enter the Class Echo, you've got to be 500 feet below. So you got to stay, you can't go any higher than 700 feet.
That line goes over a little dot of yellow, doesn't it?
Right, yeah, once you get here, this right there, that's Class Echo to the surface. Right, and that's there's a, I think there's a tower there, there's a tower there. So that's Class Echo to the surface. From there, you have to go down to 500. You can't go any higher than 500 feet in these areas here. This is Class Echo to the 700. Yeah, that's Class Echo to the surface. This is Class Delta. Sorry. Yeah, Class Echo there, Class Delta there, Class Delta there. So those are all.
I don't quite get it. It looks to me like the whole flight is in Class Echo.
No, it's not. Class Echo is 700 feet and above in this magenta area. So between here and here, you can be at 699 feet and be in Class Golf, uncontrolled airspace.
Even though it shows that it's in Class Echo.
It's not in Class Echo.
It looked like the diagram shows in Class Echo.
So that shaded magenta area is where Class Echo goes from 700 feet and above. So below 700 feet, you're in uncontrolled airspace. So that's Class Golf below 700 feet. So in uncontrolled airspace, you just have to be clear of clouds. So you could be at 700 feet there. So it is kind of a tricky question, but a good one.
That sounds like John F. Kennedy Jr. question.
Yeah, it's a Kennedy Jr. question. There you go.
Although he was off New York when he went down, didn't he?
Somewhere near there, yeah.
He wasn't by the Kennedy compound.
Okay. I think we got just a little, if folks don't mind staying a little later, I've taken you a little bit beyond time. But we've got the VMC question. Do you have to go somewhere? Okay, you're good. All right. The VMC, we'll start with the video. And it'll give me time to share the audio so I can there we are. Close that. Share the audio. Play this, make this bigger.
Perfect.
Welcome to the IMC Club meeting. Safety and proficiency through education and experience. Today's meeting, a wild ride. Not an EAA member? Please see your host after the meeting for your free 6-month trial membership. Think about your experience, your currency, and your proficiency. Whether you're an experienced instrument pilot or someone who just got their rating, try to picture yourself in this discussion and think about what action you would have taken. You're flying a rented Cessna 172 equipped with an IFR-certified Garmin GFC 500 autopilot and enabled pitch trim. The aircraft was fueled to capacity, 48 gallons of usable fuel, prior to this flight. You're an instrument-rated pilot making a solo IFR flight from Hartford Brainerd Airport in Connecticut to Keene Dillon Hopkins Field in Keene, New Hampshire for business. The roughly 70-mile trip is flight planned for 45 minutes. With full fuel, you'll have plenty of IFR reserved for a round-trip flight. The local weather at Hartford is 3,000 broken and 8 miles, but further north along the route and at your destination, conditions include a 900-foot overcast and 4 miles visibility. The pre-flight inspection reveals no issues. You start the engine, perform a run-up, receive your IFR clearance, set your navigation, and then taxi for departure. After departure, you're climbing through 800 feet and engage the autopilot in heading mode and airspeed mode set to 80 knots. You watch for a moment to ensure the autopilot is properly engaged and working correctly and observe no issues. You're about to contact Bradley Approach when the airplane suddenly pitches 20 degrees nose down, entering a dive. The autopilot is still engaged, so you quickly disconnect it and attempt to bring the airplane back to a level pitch attitude. As you pull back on the yoke, you realize the nose is extremely heavy. You immediately check the manual pitch trim and discover it is in full nose down position. You manually roll the pitch trim back to a normal position and attempt to re-establish a normal climb. What would you do?
Okay. What would you do that you hadn't already done is a good question. You've disconnected the autopilot. Any thoughts on that one?
Since the destination was in, you'd have to be on instruments when you get to your destination because of the overcast. I guess, could you check your, get back to the level flight and then check to see that the autopilot is functional? What
Would you
knocked it
trust
up?
your autopilot at this point?
You don't need the autopilot to fly.
Yeah. Would you pull the breaker on it? I mean, you've disconnected it. Yeah. I mean, yes, Chris.
Well, I'm not an instrument pilot, so I don't know shit. But what I would think is that if the manual trim was all the way down, that the autopilot failed because it couldn't override all of the force that the trim control put on the flying surface. So I would just, once I got the trim set back, I'd push the autopilot on again and see if it behaved correctly.
Okay.
And then make a judgment call. You know, I might turn around and go back, or I might go, oh yeah, shit. The trim caused the autopilot to misbehave. And if the autopilot engaged and seemed to be working completely properly, plus you can hand fly it.
Yeah.
I mean, I assume that to become an instrument-rated pilot, you have to do it without an autopilot. Right? So you have that skill, presumably. So that's what I would do. I'd check and make sure it worked, because I think I see the reason why it didn't work is that it couldn't overcome. It'd be like, sure, you can turn the autopilot, but you can still take the stick and push it all the way over and override the autopilot.
So who's got to play with an autopilot? Could it have been that the autopilot pushed the trim down?
That's if it has the auto trim.
Yeah.
So 172s don't have the auto trim. Pipers have the auto trim. And that was a 172.
It specifically said
So,
that the
just like-
manual
just like
control
he's saying,
was all the way down.
That trim wheel was all nose down.
So that the autopilot isn't manipulating the trim.
If thing has been, added, the auto trim has been added to this 172.
Okay.
We're assuming that, but yeah, the autopilot could run the trim down all the way and put it nose heavy.
But does the autopilot turn the very same control that does the manual
No.
trim, or is it
No.
a separate surface? So the manual trim was still all the
Yeah,
way down no
it's-
matter what, which is the wrong place.
You have to have an electric trim for the autopilot to do an auto trim. So a 172 with the trim wheel down there
Right,
can't have an auto trim.
Okay.
So the
unless
autopilot
it was another surface.
No, there isn't.
Well, there are autopilots that work with a secondary surface.
Yeah.
They're all over the place.
Okay, but the 172 doesn't have.
I don't.
It's just a question how this, but the pilot connect.
There's no way I continue a flight with a
With the autopilot,
malfunctioning
yeah.
trim.
So I had a scenario where I took off flying over the big mountains. And about 5 minutes into my flight, the autopilot said I'd not fly. And so I tested it, checked it, everything was fine, engaged it again, and about another 5 minutes, it disengaged me. So I ended up hand flying. Got home, found out that the autopilot didn't like the slack in the controls. It was still within Cessna specs, but the autopilot itself was saying, this isn't good, and it disengaged. So the mechanic tightened up all the cables. Everything was within spec, Cessna spec, but they readjusted all the cables, and the autopilot works fine.
And a 172?
172.
It's very interesting. Thank you. Yeah, there's no right answer. This is just about discussion. So yeah, we need somebody who's got flown one and has
Yeah,
that.
so like in this scenario here, yeah, if I don't have the auto trim, okay, I'm gonna say, well, then my trim wheel is down, so I re-trim the plane, I'd engage the auto.
Yeah.
But if I did have the auto trim, I wouldn't engage.
Okay.
I'd have the service check.
Very good.
Yeah, I just disengage from what?
Yeah. Sure. It's a 172. Yeah.
You deviate.
Excellent point. Excellent point. Otherwise, you get a brasher? Yeah, they might give you a brasher. Yeah.
That would yell at you.
Yeah, here's call with this number.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you tell them, yeah, I had an autopilot issue.
Of checklist before engaging with pilot, because when you engage with the pilot, you have to check that the trim is new. Trim cannot go itself down from neutral if you set it at the beginning.
Yeah,
At the beginning, right?
yeah, very true, very true. That was a little bit odd. That it was-
So maybe
Sudden.
Right, right.
pilot to keep it against the trim. And then after a while, after some, let's say, jerking, yeah, it lost control and it's
Said, you noticed it right away.
if the trim at the very beginning was all down, you can still try to engage a pilot. It will override the trim. But that would be, let's say, if there's excess force, it will disengage.
I think, yeah, know your systems. And I had an instructor tell me you can trust an autopilot, but never turn your back on it, right? So, yeah.
That's about it.
That's about it. Okay. Your thoughts online, Brad? All right,
No
let me,
thoughts.
Bring up the last one is the IMC question of the month, and it's a softball. So I expect that we'll we'll be done here shortly. That up. Share this screen. All right, and it's there. Okay. You're flying in. Have a radio problem. It seems you can hear transmissions, but you are unable to transmit. What can you do to alert? Problem. 7,600 on the transponder. Yeah, yeah. Softball question. What else can you do? There you go. There you go. You've got your backup hand radio. Good job, Bill. I'm flying with Bill. He's got all his gear. They also suggested you might consider well, yeah, 7,600, and they suggest to ident. Especially if he's flying you through a localizer. So it's like, hey, did you forget about me? I'm gonna turn. That's all I had for. It's going to be good to have a full suite of officers next year. We'll go ahead and get the chapter filled out. Oh, one more question I had for you all is what are we going to do for next month? Reminder: the Christmas party is December 7th, Pearl Harbor Day on a Saturday. If we did a December chapter meeting, it would be on December 19th, and that's rather close to Christmas. Would you like to postpone and meet again in January? January?
Makes sense.
I think we have a unanimous decision. We'll go ahead and enjoy our Christmas and with friends and family, and we'll see you friends again in January. And that January meeting will be